All right, we're back. It took us a few days to get some weather that was going to cooperate, but we're here. And we're just gonna hold this plastic up just as high as it needs to go and not undo any more than that, because I'm sure it'll need to come right back down again. The issue that we're running into here is that whether you have a sill beam or a sill plate, the edge of it, you know, a sill plate being a piece of treated lumber that lies in here like this on top of the foundation, and the sill beam does the same thing, but the outside edge of it should be flush and plumb, but flush to the foundation wall. And you can see here, I don't know how easily or not, but this beam is twisted back in here. I mean, the foundation wall comes up here to this point, and then our beam turns and goes out to the left on us. And all of this business, I mean, whether it's a sill beam or a plate, the sheathing of the house should be right on the surface of it. And the siding product is on top of that, whether there's a tar paper or moisture barrier or whatever, depending on where you live, whatever. None of this stuff in here, or this bottom thing, should be here at all. And so I've got to get out here again to the back of this sheathing with a representational and pseudo-functional rim joist here. And, you know, so how am I going to, essentially, what I know is, with my tape measure, and, you know, tell me if this is interesting to anybody or not. Sometimes I skip this stuff, sometimes I don't, but I'm going to get a sense of what the measurement is from the bottom edge here to the back of where I want to be, and where, you know, what it is here. And I could do that math just to be talking, you know, just to discuss how far out of plumb we are. But also I can tell at the tightest spot here, you know, I've only got an inch or a hair more than an inch, and really I need an inch and a half. So if I were to stick a 2x10 or a 2x12 to the face of this, not only would it be sticking out at an angle, I'd be sticking out proud of where I want to be, by how much. So I think the first thing to do here is to put a perfectly plumb face on the edge of this beam, and make that start essentially at the surface of the foundation here. And so to do that, what I've got here is a carpenter square on the surface of the floor, which we're going to, for sake of argument, call level. Really, it's not really about level, it's about planing. So that's a known plane. We're on that known plane, and we're going to move in on the known plane until we crash into the top corner. Now look at how far behind. I don't know if I can illustrate this with the phone camera. You know, but there's a lot of, this is maybe the way to do it. Here, there you go. So you can see almost the shadows helping. So we've slid on that plane until we've encountered the leading corner of this, and I can get a measurement here. I can do this anywhere. I can go anywhere up and down here to establish basically, you know, whatever that measurement is in that location needs to come up here onto the beam. And, you know, I may go far enough away to where I think it may have changed a little bit, because of course this twist isn't uniform. It is changing in one way or another. So over this width, I might get 3 or 4 locations where I stop and I measure and I translate that measurement up here. So I have 3 or 4 points along the top, and they ought to work out to some sort of close to straight line, or essentially I'll connect the dots. And then, given the angle here, roughly I'll set my skill saw to that angle, my circular saw, excuse me, to that angle, and I'll cut that line with the appropriate angle that looks like, yeah, that's the right one. That'll, you know, given the math and the way that it looks, will cut down in here 2 inches or so plumb. And then I'll reach down in there with the sawzall, and I'll finish from the bottom of the circular saw cut and out what I'll be looking for, the blade coming out that leading bottom edge of the sawzall. And that'll do a good enough job to probably need a flap disc or a sanding disc on the grinder to hog off a little bit of a step or whatever inconsistency here to dress it up a little bit. And then I can stick dimensional lumber on there, 1.5 inches. And once I've got a fresh 1.5 inches plumb and level, or at least relative to the floor's level here on there, then I can look at what I've got to have left to get right out from that to the back of this, and we're working as though that's plumb, and I can add that much more. If it ends up being a 5/4 board, if it ends up being you know, a rip of plywood or something treated, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I may decide that whatever it is, I want to sandwich it onto the beam first and then pack on the 1.5 inch 2x12, because that 1.5 inch 2x12 once again is what you would have for a rim joist on a new build home. So I like the idea of him being on the outside in essentially the position he would be in if the rest of the residence was constructed that way. And so that's the plan, and we'll come back and look at how far we were able to go. And obviously this presents a pretty significant problem, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but stay tuned. We'll see ya.